So you have a question and you have no one that you're comfortable with asking that question. You have no one to really talk to share their experiences and what they've learned, their silliness, their misadventures. You don't have anyone like that in your life. Well, guess what? I'm here for you. Please come and sit with Mama. Ask Mama what your questions are, and I will do my very best to answer them and share some of my life experience, including some totally TMI situations. If it can happen, it has happened to me. Nothing is off limits here. Nothing is taboo. You have a question, you ask that in the comments, and Mama will do her very best to answer it for you in a way that you are comfortable with, where you feel valued and loved and appreciated and validated. And today we are talking about tampons. Now myself, I no longer have to worry about any of this, and it is absolutely wonderful. I have had a full hysterectomy. Now that has its pros and cons as well, and we'll talk about that in another video about forced menopause. Stay tuned. It's been an adventure, but I started having my period regularly between 10 and 11 years old. I was an early bloomer, boobs and all, but I didn't even know that tampons were a thing until I was a teenager and friends of mine were using those. I only knew about pads. That's all that my mom used, and so all that she bought and all that I was aware of. So when it was that time of the month, there was no swimming. I had to be super careful because all I had were pads, not to mention the fact that they weren't thin like they are now. They were like diapers, okay? I am not even kidding. And you could see them in the back of your pants, your underwear, like, ugh. When it was my period, I had to wear longer shirts. I had to wear looser pants. It was just, absolutely a disaster. And don't even get me started on the pain and the endometriosis and the near hemorrhaging amount of blood. That's a different video. So what is a tampon? Well, let me show you. There are so many different kinds of tampons, but they all serve the same purpose. They are meant to be inserted into your vagina. And then they kind of spread out as they absorb the blood and all that other good stuff that gets shed every month, but not for me anymore. Let's look at it. So there are different kinds. My favorites were the plastic. We do keep pads on hand just in case, we need them. But in this family, we definitely prefer tampons. They come in different sizes. There are so many different brands, so many different makes and models, but my favorite are definitely these with the plastic tubes. Now, as the Frugal Mama, I hate that these are not something that is likely to be recycled, and these probably end up in the ocean somewhere. I hate that, but sometimes that's something we have to do, and so we try to make up for that elsewhere in our lives. I prefer the plastic because they are just a lot less mess and disaster. My mom, I don't know why she had them since she didn't use tampons, but for some reason she had a couple of the OB brand, and all it is the actual tampon spongy part itself. So you've got to stick that thing all the way up there on your own and hope it gets into the right place. It's really messy, and I do not like those, and I do not recommend them. There are also the ones with the paper. It's made out of the same kind of stuff as like a toilet paper roll, basically like a tag board, not quite cardboard. Those work, they're fine, but they don't insert as smoothly as the plastic does. Now, as far as messiness, you're going to get messy either way, okay? Because you're sticking something up into your bloody vagina. So you are going to get messy. Make sure there's plenty of toilet paper on hand so that you can at least wipe off your hands, so that you can get out to the sink and get clean. With any and all tampons, you're going to want to get it up there into your vagina so that it can soak up those fluids. I just think that this is going to be the easiest way is with the plastic. So it has these handy little grips, which the paper and tag board ones and tubeless don't have. So you've got something to hold on to, which is absolutely vital because everything gets really slippery in there, okay? It's like a slip and slide. So you're going to hold on, all right? And look how cute that is. This one even, I don't know if that's even showing, but this one even has really cute little treads. It's little flowers. I've never seen one like that because, of course, I haven't had to use these in a long, long time. So you're going to grip that with clean fingers. Gently hold open the lips of your vagina. You're going to insert this. It'll slide right up into your vagina, and then you're going to push this tube all the way up through. And what is that going to do? It's going to force the sponge part up in deeper, which is fantastic, so it can expand and it can gather and absorb all of that messy, fabulous womanness Once you have plunged it all the way through, you're going to go ahead and just pull the plastic tubing right out. It will release very easily if you succeeded in getting the spongy absorbent part all the way up into the vaginal canal. Yeah, it'll just come right out. It'll be messy. It'll be gross. Have the toilet paper ready because this is going to be covered in bloody, goopy goodness, okay? It has a string right here. What is that about? Well, we don't plan to leave that spongy bit up there forever, and please don't. We will talk in a moment about the dangers of leaving it up there too long. But there is a string here, and that is for when it is time to pull that sucker out, you have a string to grab onto. So, how long should you leave these in? First, it's important to know if your tampon is full yet, and you can tell that by how easy it is to pull it out with your string. If it comes right out loosey-goosey, it definitely needs to be changed, or if you notice any blood on the string. If it doesn't come out quickly and you don't see any on the string and it has not been more than 8 hours, you can leave that in a little bit longer. Just remember, with tampons, 4 hours is about right, and don't leave one in for more than 8 hours. I have left them in while I slept, and it's totally okay to do so. Just be sure that you set an alarm and do not leave it in for more than 8 hours. I would also recommend wearing a panty liner, even a pad at night, just to be safe, because you know you're going to be rolling around and you don't want messy sheets in the morning. What if you don't want to wear a tampon at night? You're not certain that you can stick to just 8 hours of sleep. I would say go with, a really good, long, thick, absorbent nighttime pad with really big wings to go around your underwear. In another video, we will talk about pads. Now, what are the benefits and the drawbacks to tampons? Well, it'd be tricky to get them up in there. I'm going to tell you my story in just a minute. It can be tricky. Hey, there's 3 holes in that canyon. 3 holes. Why are they all that close together? That's where evolution went wrong. Why is the pleasure treasure right next to the shitter? I don't know. It's a thing.
Do you maybe see a problem with what you've done?
But that's how we're designed, that's how we're built, so we try to do the best that we can with the circumstances as they are. You want to go swimming, you want to be dancing, you want to engage in sports and all those very active, fun kinds of things. Sex is a different story. We will talk about that, I promise, in another video. The tampon makes all of that possible as long as you use the right size, I'll get to that in a sec, and you make sure to change it often. With pads, of course, you're not going to go swimming in those. Absolutely not. And in sports, running and moving, pads can definitely be a problem. And you don't want to be running and trying to kick that goal, whatever, soccer, sport ball into a net, and then stuff's leaking down, your white uniform shorts or down your leg. Oh my God, those things do happen, okay? They do happen. That's when you want a tampon. Now, of course, I didn't even know about tampons till I was a teenager. I had no one but my friends and the little paper that comes in the box to help me with that. So the first time that I tried to put a tampon in, I was well into my teens, maybe even a young adult. I don't remember exactly, but I ended up, we're just going to tell it how it is. This is TMI time. I ended up in the wrong hole. No, it wasn't going up my ass, but you have your urethra down there, and that's where you pee out of. Those that don't know, yeah, we have 3 holes in there. I think a lot of guys don't understand. What are all those wacky holes doing? What is going on there? Yeah, one of them's your vagina. That's your happy place. Then there's your urethra. That's where your pee's coming out. You don't want to be putting anything up in there. And then there's your poop hole, and that's in the back. That's in the very back. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So I, on accident, because I didn't know and I had no one to guide me and no one to help me, and there was no internet in those days, and I wasn't comfortable speaking with my mom about it and didn't think she'd even know about it or what to tell me or how to help me because she didn't use them. And the only thing I had ever found was those terrible OBs, and had tried those a few years earlier, and it was an absolute disaster. So I was like, who am I going to talk to? Yeah, all I had was the little paper of instructions that came in the box. And I tried, it was quite the misadventure, tried to insert this and ended up in the urethra, which is a teeny tiny hole. Your vaginal canal, it is far more spacious, okay? And it gets even more spacious when you start popping kids out. That's a different video for a different day. But there's plenty of room in the vaginal canal for things things like this because they're also meant to have a penis inserted, penis of various sizes in order to, get pregnant. That's what all that system is there for. So there's plenty of room for this. If you start putting this up inside you in between your legs and, oh God, all of a sudden it hurts really bad and feels really tight, that's most likely the wrong hole. Scoot yourself back a little bit, okay? Get a different one. If you have exposed this at all to the urethra, you don't want to be putting that into your vagina. Don't do it, okay? That's dangerous. There's bacteria, all kinds of possibilities. You want to get a fresh one. I know they're expensive and it sucks, but you want to get a fresh one. You do not want to get sick, okay? You do not want problems happening down there. So you're going to get a fresh one and you're going to palpate down there, find the hole that was too small, all right? Go to the bigger one, not the one in back. Leave that one alone. You're going to insert this. It will slide comfortably, and that's how you know you've got the right hole. So I tried, it ended up in the wrong hole, and that put me off of tampons for another couple of years. I was scared. It hurt. Again, I had no one to talk to. I was figuring it out on my own. But finally, in my early 20s, I tried again and found that these were the absolute life-changing, most beautiful, wonderful things since like sliced cheese. I love tampons. So glad I don't have to use them anymore. There are different sizes because at different points in your flow, you're going to be putting out a different amount. So there are light, there are medium, there are extra super duper heavy duty. Those were the ones I usually would use for the entire period because girl was bleeding. I mean, bleeding. Huge part of why I have had a total hysterectomy. Now, when you take it out, when you pull that out and you're getting ready to change one out, all you've got to do is wrap that in some toilet paper. Here in the US, I don't know about anywhere else, but here in the US, in most public bathrooms, in your gas station bathrooms, your school, wherever, they're going to have a little box lined with a little waxy paper bag, and that is meant for your tampons or your pads. That's where you dispose of them. Please do not put it in the toilet because some unfortunate person who is definitely not paid enough for that kind of nonsense is going to have to plunge that thing out of there. Okay? Don't do it. It's ridiculous. Put it where it belongs, wrapped up in some toilet paper or in the packaging of the next one that you're using, and deposit it into that little box. Or, and I know this is disgusting and you don't want to do it, but do it anyway, take it with you to another garbage receptacle, okay? And then wash your hands. So we've talked about the benefits. We've talked about how to do it. We've talked about when to do it. Okay, now the risks. Nothing is free in this world. Everything comes with a cost or a risk or a con, okay? So let's talk about it. There are dangers to using tampons. If you use them correctly and do not have any other medical conditions or situations that do not allow you to use one properly, these are just like the greatest, most fabulous thing in the world and you have nothing to worry about. But if you are not changing them out as often as you should, you can get very, very sick, very ill. If you stick it up too far in there, don't do it. Don't stick it up too far. Once it gets uncomfortably, that's where it needs to be. It will do its job. But if it gets up in there too far, you're going to probably have to have help. Been there, done that, getting that thing back out. Seriously, the video. Sex with a tampon in, it's coming, okay? You're gonna have to have someone pull that thing out for you. And if that's not a trained medical professional, you're gonna get really close, really bonded with someone in your life, or you are never gonna talk to that person again, okay? You're gonna have help getting that sucker out of there. So don't stick it up too far. Don't leave it in too long. Toxic shock syndrome. It is very real. It is very deadly. You don't want it. The main cause of it is tampon use, but let's clarify, incorrect tampon use. Toxic shock syndrome does have other causes and it can happen to anyone. Young, old, male, female, it can happen to anyone. It just so happens that most often it comes from improper tampon use. I'm going to list here the symptoms, the things that you need to look out for. If you start experiencing any of these, you get that tampon out and you get medical attention. This is why you absolutely have to do it the right way and change it out. Again, I know they're expensive. Everything female related suffers from a pink tax. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely unconscionable, but it is also our current reality. Change it out.
Throw that away.
Put a fresh one in and be aware of the signs and symptoms that your body is showing and trying to tell you that something is wrong. Be aware of those. And at the first sign of any of those problems, please do get medical attention.
To me, this situation is a blood-soaked, nightmarish hellscape.
If you don't, you can die.
You have to trust me.
It very literally can kill you. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. You can die. Okay, so please be careful and do it right. These are wonderful. I love these, and especially with the super fun little flower grip. These are fantastic. And if you have to go through the hellish experience of bleeding out your ass, okay, not your ass, all right? Remember, we clarified the 3 holes. But if you have to go through that every month, you might as well be as comfortable as possible with a tampon, with a plastic applicator. I am telling you, these are my favorite. I love them. They're wonderful. The others, yes, they can work. They can do the job. They're just a little trickier, and it's going to take a little more practice, and they're not going to be as comfortable as this. Like I said, there are so many other options now. We are no longer just relying on huge diaper-sized pads, okay? It is amazing. There's a smorgasbord, a wonderland of options now, and we will talk about those more in an upcoming video. I have been Mama, also known as Julie, okay, all my life, and you have been wonderful. Thank you for watching this episode of Ask Mama. Please, if you have questions, if you have concerns, and you have no one to talk to, and just a Google search is not enough for you, please ask me those questions in the comments, or go ahead and use our business email. That's in there too, and I will keep you 100% anonymous. I will answer your questions, and I will share my own silly, ridiculous TMI experiences so that you know you are not alone. It happens to other people. You are not weird. You are not odd. You are not somehow different in a negative way. All right? You are wonderful. You are beautiful. You are fabulous. You are valid. You matter. And please don't ever believe otherwise. All right. I will talk to you all very soon. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. Ask me the questions so that I can answer them. All right. Bye-bye.